Carroll Board of Education meeting. Roll call, please, Mr. Bigham.
Mr. Abbott.
Present.
Mr. Bratton.
Present.
Mr. Jimmy Johnson.
Present.
Mr. Rod.
Any addendums, I think for the first time in a long time. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I looked through them and I thought everything looked good.
Great. Can I get a motion to approve, please?
Bratton.
A few things I wanted to talk about today. All right. First of all, me and Mr. Max were talking in the office. I know this was using the auditorium, and I said, "Well, why don't you come in and tell us about your."
By the way, it was so formal at first. My God, I'd be terrible in this group. Sold and done all 50 states. I performed in many middle schools. I don't know who to talk to.
You can talk.
Awful. And this is, so I don't know how you pulled that together. But Brian, evening show like the Western Center Kappa has presented me, and I've been and how a great time in middle school, but there are kids that really suffered, not only with the bullying thing, but the social emotional things have been out as well. The Columbus Foundation are the producers of this, and it's I've been touring for 19 terabytes of material. I've been all over the world, and we're doing a documentary called Post in the Road. So that's what I do. But tomorrow at 9 and 1, I'm doing Love for any of you to come and see it. It's anywhere between 52 and 55 minutes, depending on what I do. So, and it's really great for me to be here because, like I said, I live in Lycopollis. So this is, and I've done the show, this will be my third time at Canal Winchester Middle School, schools that I don't remember out here, but I mean, not that I don't remember them, I just don't remember the names of them. So that's it.
Do 2 shows. You're more than welcome. There'll be room. Sometimes there's no room. We have to bring in chairs now whenever we have everybody in there, but we're doing 2 shows, so there'll be room, and you're free to stop in tomorrow at 9, 10, and 1 o'clock. See you, and I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping in.
No,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Back to work. All right, thank you. And she actually went home early. The tech and how to make learning enjoyable for them. We've had a lot of this, how it can be just, kids sitting on a computer and letting them get some technology.
They didn't have Meijer back then or somewhere where you could drive through and get something. So, we all like a real museum to go along with their artifacts. And luckily, Mrs. Ingbert and I, and the kids were really, sometimes the kids would come down and look and, oh yeah, maybe. And I really saw even the boys, because, you probably all, some of you have been.
Well, yeah.
2 great things about this project was first is we're growing, so it's the first time we've had teachers like Janice can now collaborate with someone else teaching the same subject, so they're able to work together, 2 minds to it. Both classes are doing it, even though they got different teachers, so that's one of the things we wanted. The other thing is with technology like this, we find out, the research shows, kids care what others.
We did have a lot of redos. They would listen to themselves talk and say, oh, I just don't think I like that. So they'd go back and redo their the next year.
Maybe you said,
Everyone in 6th grade did one, yes. So each individual artifact.
As we, we got, our current 8th grade is having to mix and match teachers around to teach more than one subject. Well, that's gonna change, and I don't see it ever last year. And so I think I hit my 10-minute limit, so, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, I really just want to commend you for, working with your students.
0.9 million with SCOIC. Within the financials for January, you have within the executive summary, the third of 4, again, it's a individual school district 100 form that would be mostly filed in April. Sometimes people file them with extensions, and so there is a little bit that comes in throughout the year. The third one is the people making payments, 1,000 higher than forecasted, and you can see that play out there on the green report has listed student, or what that equates to us is a little under 59,000 basis, slightly under 2.9 million. We will start to collect some real estate taxes here in the next month. So Finance,
Yes.
Mr. Jimmy Johnson,
Yes.
Mrs. Sherman,
Yes.
and Mr. Rod Johnson.
Yes.
And debt service, permanent improvement, and our total taxable valuation. I went over all of this with you in January, the changes. This is just the official board approval required by Fairfield County, which authorizes them to collect these taxes and permanent improvement. Any questions on the effective mills or rates?
Hearing none, may I get a motion, please?
A training session provided by the Ohio Auditor of State's Office. I've included the section. I'm on schedule currently, but once I attend that, I will update you and provide you with your certificate.
Yes.
Mr. Jimmy Johnson?
Yes.
And Mrs. Sherman?
Yes.
Item D, in the amount of Mrs. Dinsmore, I had sent in some literature, some pictures, and that is completely up and running. So certainly a great opportunity for these high school students.
Appreciated the grant.
A nice job, and to be honest, some of these grants, it becomes labor intensive on my.
Seeing none, I'll go ahead and make this motion.
Scholarship Fund and Memorial of Dan Shirley, and the Bloom Carroll Track and Field Program has put together a kind of a campaign to raise some funds for some upgrades, electronic. Thank you.
Number 8, old business. Approve the following policies for, get a motion, please?
So just a few things, just wanted to acknowledge, I believe you might be aware of this, but I wanted to formally acknowledge Christy Bachman as a finalist for the Golden Owl Award. It is sponsored by Nation Insurance, to her classroom fund that she can spend on her students. And hopefully she will continually, at this point, has agreed to a bill to postpone the application date, fair solution for all, but it will, it also calls for a report card. Over the next couple, came in, worked with our K-5 teachers on some furniture samples, grade levels between the K-2 teachers and the 3-5 teachers, and I think we'll be able to hopefully meet their preferences with whether they want trapezoid tables in second grade or rectangle tables, and student discussion and has been taking place in that process, and looking at data and projects that you have a chance to swing by on your way to work, or yeah, maybe.
As long as it lasts.
You can just come in for a second, cruise around, ask the kids some questions. You'll see a lot of kids presenting. Conferences took place on the 30th and on the 6th. Disability growing up, didn't always feel real accepted and at home in middle school, and you know, seeing and lifting kids up about the struggles they often face in middle school and that transition early to high school, and all the social emotional issues of the middle school years. So so right around March 1st, they'll start working on the walls again. Of course, it'll probably get to 10 degrees and 15 until 12:15. If you get questions about the second grade one, why we're doing that, obviously they have to reading levels. We thought if we could keep them engaged throughout the summer, it might third grade reading. 5, approve an out-of-state trip itinerary for art students and chamber singers, July 20th through the 29th.
We're gonna go 2 different countries. This is like 11 kids.
Wow. And then how was that selection process? Did kids just sign up, or was it something you had, new kids had an
Since this
interest?
was the first year, I kind of left it to like.
Let's go above.
We want to approve substitute list number 7 for February 2020 as submitted by the Fairfield County Educational Home Instructors for 1 day for Daniel Louie. 20. Sporadic work, you know, could be second shift, could be during the day for 4 hours on a school bus, and substitute teachers is one thing, but it's a whole other level with the custodians and. Okay, nothing under 9D, 9E, or 9F, and
Listen, the transfer of the proposed right-of-way for the construction of a return lane along the frontage of the district's Carroll.
It's a long process, but this will allow for that work within that right of way. Water and sewer lines, Fairfield County Utilities, it's, how does that work? Existing 30.
Mr. Jimmy Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Abbott?
Yes.
Mr. Bratton?
Yes. It was very informative, kind of like your first year, what to expect, kind of like stuff, so I recommend that.
Safety, health, and wellness, Mr. Jimmy Johnson.
Nothing new.
It's been probably 6-7 years. Yeah.
Well, thanks. I'm sure time.
So, thanks, Mr. Robert Post, going on tomorrow as well. But we also have a music boosters meeting at 6:30 and
See you, friends. I picked up my book. Thank you very much.